Say hi, wife. Good afternoon. 16:23 on February 25th. Something you don't see very often. I got a passenger. Wife and I are heading to Royal Bavaria for some German slash Bavarian slash whatever it is, down at the kind of the border of Moore, Oklahoma and Norman, Oklahoma, only about 37 minutes away from current location. Same old song and dance for the most part. We've been on this ride several times, most of it just a nice around the city kind of way to get there without getting all clogged up on the interstates with the after work traffic. Once upon a time, wife had her own bike. I know she did have a CBR 600 F4i at one point. When I met her, she had a 2006 GSXR 600. Fun story there. So very shortly after we met, within a couple of weeks, I don't remember the exact time frame, but she lived in a house by herself down on the south side of Oklahoma City, and we met because of motorcycles. Truth be told, we met because of MySpace, if anybody remembers that social media platform. Shortly after we met, somebody cut a hole with tin snips in her overhead garage door, crawled through, and then used the snips to cut the rails on the garage door so the padlocks that she had on either side of the bar lock would slide through the rails, and stole her 2006 GSXR 600. She was out of town, I think in Texas at the time, for a dog show, and her dad went over to the house to check on stuff while she was gone and found that the bike was missing and the hole was in the door. Well, as far as he knew, not very many people out of town, or knew that she was going to be out of town. He figured I did, so the first thing that comes to his mind was I broke into the garage and stole the bike. She quickly convinced him otherwise, called me and told me about it. What's she pointing at? T-38 flying out up there. Anyway, she called me and told me about it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anybody at the time that was really motorcycling. So it just kind of was what it was at the time. And when she got back from Texas, she filed an insurance claim, and eventually the bike got replaced. Then she ended up with a 2006 GSXR 750. Beautiful bike, black and maroon. Weren't very damn many of them around of that color. And long story short there, we got married pretty quick. I moved in with her. I moved in with her before we got married. I had my 2002 750 at the time. A few months, maybe close to a year later, don't remember when this was now either. This has been back in 2007. She got a call from Oklahoma City police saying that they had found her bike, which, you know, the stolen one belonged to the insurance company now, so why would they be calling us? So our first thought was, I think we were out and about somewhere. Our first thought was, shit, it happened again. So we rush home, the bike's in the garage. They're like, oh no, we found your old bike, your stolen bike. Oh, okay. Yeah, you need to come pick it up, they said. Well, it doesn't belong to us anymore, it belongs to the insurance company. They're like, no, you need to come pick it up. Okay. So we jumped in my truck and drove out to this little house near the intersection of I-240 and I-35 in Oklahoma City, and we picked up this bike, brought it home. Not too long after that, Country Financial was the insurance company at the time, called us up. It's like, that doesn't belong to you. We're going to come pick it up. Well, when we got it back, I skipped a little bit there. When we got it back, we noticed a couple of things. The 2006 Gixxer 600 and 750, the blue and white model, she had the blue and white 600. The paint schemes were about opposite on those. The 600 had a solid blue tank, and the forks were gold, and there were the side fairings were blue and white, and the blue and white was reversed on the 750 and the 600, and the tank on the 750 had a stripe down the side of it. So the 600 that we got back had black forks, which came from a 750, and it had a stripe down the tank, which also came from a 750. Again, hers was a 600. Seems to me it also had black wheels, which came on the 750, and the 600 had blue wheels. I don't remember that part for sure. Well, when she got her black and maroon 750, it just had a back seat on it, and she liked the little, she never had a passenger, so she liked the little plastic cap that actually comes with the bike but didn't come with this bike because we bought it used. And a friend of hers just so happened to have a spare of that plastic cap, they call it a cowl, that once upon a time used to be blue. It was spray painted black, but you could still see blue on the bottom. Interesting. Well, when the 600 was stolen out of the garage, the only other thing missing out of the garage was that that back seat for her bike that was wrapped up in plastic on the top shelf in the garage. Kyle called me up, asked me about the bike. I told him the details about it getting stolen and whatever. He said, so here's the thing. He worked at a place called Jim Anderson's Complete Cycle at the time. It was a little motorcycle shop in Del City, Oklahoma. He said, here's the thing. That bike was in the possession of the shop not too awful long ago, in much better condition than what it's in right now, which, by the way, it had been like practically totaled. It was trashed when we picked it up from the police. He said the guy that had it was an underwater welder that spent most of his time in Florida, but he had a place in Oklahoma City, and he bought this bike out of the back of a pickup at a Hooters bike night on in South Oklahoma City. Little shady. It's been so long since I've told this story, I don't remember all the details all that much, but another detail, the guy that gave her the cowl for the back had a cut on his knee and had it wrapped up when he showed up to give it to her. And whoever cut through the overhead door to crawl through cut themselves and left blood trailing down the overhead door. This guy also had a 2006 Gixxer 750, which, again, those were some of the parts that we found on her bike that were trashed. And he wrecked his bike recently. Oh, another fact. He borrowed her bike once and told her when he brought it back, he was just using it to put the odometer from hers onto his so he could get a better insurance rate on a low miles bike. Now, when the police picked up this stolen bike, the key cylinder was not damaged at all, and we still had a spare key. We still had both keys for it, and the keys still worked in the cylinder, so the cylinder had not been tampered with. So yeah, lots of shady things about this Jesse fella. I don't remember his last name. His first name was Jesse. I probably wouldn't oust him just in case it wasn't him on YouTube anyway, but lots of shady things pretty well pointed to him being the thief. And we provided all that information to Oklahoma City police, but it was just a little petty bike theft. They didn't really care about it. They had bigger things on their plate. I kind of understand, but at the same time, if you give them that much information, you'd think they'd do something about it. So she had that bike from 2006. She bought it in November 2006 until August of 2022. Put about 18,000 miles on it in that amount of time. And again, beautiful bike, absolutely nothing wrong with it. Had all kinds of nifty go fast parts on it. And I don't remember exactly what she paid for it, but in 2022, being a 15-year-old bike, we sold it on Facebook Marketplace to a guy in Ardmore, Oklahoma, I think, for $5,800. We didn't lose a whole lot of money on that bike. He seemed like a pretty level-headed kid. Met him at the bank. He gave us the money for it. Didn't haggle the price at all. And about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, he sent me a message on Facebook with a picture of the engine sitting on the side of the bike with a giant hole in it.
Sadly, she is gone completely. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell he was. Best I can figure, he was sitting in a gas station parking lot, bouncing it off the rev limiter like kids do, and threw a rod straight through the side of the motor. So the bike didn't live long after that. She was all kinds of depressed about that, but you know, she got her money, so it is what it is. She hadn't ridden it too much in the last 4 or 5 years before she sold it. She's got some progressively worsening back problems, and finally decided it was time to let it go and let somebody else get 2 weeks of enjoyment out of it. so that's why she doesn't ride with me very often either. She's got the back issues, but every once in a while on a really nice day like today, when it's February 25th and 78.8 degrees right now, she will say, hey, let's get on the bike and go get dinner, and I do not skip a beat. I love it when she rides with me. I wish she could do it more often. There's all kinds of places I'd love to take her on this thing for dinner, but I'll take what I can get. And we've been to Royal Bavaria many times, but it's one of her favorite places, so I will take her.
Triple cheeseburger sounds good.
You want to go there instead?
No.
Okay. Dumbass. Well, I genuinely didn't think the camera was going to last this long on the battery with all those stoplights I hit. But we're here. We're going to turn left, and it's right there on the other side of those trees. Royal Bavaria, German restaurant, brewery, and beer garden. Both of our bellies are overflowingly full. Wife had some sort of a cabbage roll. I had some sort of a beef roll. I will post pictures of both. I remembered to do that. We had a lot of freaking bread for an appetizer, some salads. She had a flight of beer. I had a liter of beer. A liter of beer was a lot more beer than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I thought otherwise. We took the nice, slow, calm way out here. We're going to jump on the interstate and ride home. We got dogs at home that have been left unattended. Maggie likes to throw everything off of the couches and the beds and everything. Herschel just stays curled up in a tight little ball like he's been abandoned on the couch. We have ASPCA poster dogs, American Staffordshire Terriers to be exact. So I reckon we'll go ahead and shut her down here. The sun has gone over the horizon, it looks like, so the video quality is going to turn to shit, but I appreciate y'all riding along as always, and we'll see y'all on the next one. My lens cap is on. That was stupid.